name of my album is called Stronger with Each Tear. The reason why I called it Stronger with Each Tear is because when we go through trials and tribulations, at some point we always end up crying and breaking down to a point where we understand that we'll never do that again. You know, I mean, once you get to a point where you cry, it's like, okay, this can't be right. It's just another way of relating to people and letting them know that I still have trials and tribulations, and through my trials, I get stronger and I still cry. On this new album, Stronger with Each Tear, I can't compare it to The Breakthrough or My Life, this album Stronger, because each album has its own theme. But this Stronger album is really it's shaping up to be one of my favorites because it is exactly where I am. It is exactly, there's no where am I? It is exactly where I am, and I'm stronger because I know that I need the strength of people to help me. I need the strength of God to help me continue. I need the strength of myself, and it's okay to be vulnerable and ask for the help. And it is okay to forgive yourself and learn how to forgive others. You know, on this album, there is a song called In the Morning. It's a real Mary J. Blige classic. It's basically saying, you know what, we're having a really, really hard time right now, but will you love me tomorrow? I'm acting like a jerk right now, but will you forgive me? Will you love me in the morning? And then there's a song called Each Tear, and it's basically saying it makes you wiser, it makes you stronger, it makes you wiser than before, and stronger than you know, each tear. There's a song called Tonight that basically says, look, it says, I don't want to argue and beef tonight, and you know, when we make up, you know, that's basically what it's saying. The album starts off pretty up mid, because I'm never like, the fastest song I've ever done was Just Fine. That's really fast, but I normally stay here. I stay here. It's such an East Coast record. It's one of those records that I think everyone's gonna love. It's a beautiful record. I love the work that my husband does on the record. Without him, it does not have a texture. It's very smooth, and it's like he's sewing it together. and it all looks like a beautiful blanket when it's all done. Let me break it down if you don't get it. Quality, I'm custom fitted. That's right. I'ma say it again. Producers I work, let's start with the producers I work with on the new album. I work with Rodney Jerkins, of course, The Runners, Stargate, Polo, Akon, Neo, Dia Miles, and other producers. The process for any album, the way I do it is, if you have something amazing, if it's already tracked out with a reference vocal and already written, you send it to me and it's amazing, I'll use it. And then I'll go into the studio, I'll sing out what it is that you wrote that works so good for my story. I'll sit with the writers and we'll talk to each other, have a conversation, and then we'll write from there. Pretty practical is how it works. The studio performance to stage, it's always different, because once the product is done, the after effect of the studio situation is different. You're not learning the song anymore. You're not in the studio, you know, behind a piece of glass. You're in front of people that actually relate to what you put out there. So it's different because it's an energy exchange. I saw the movie Precious, and when I saw it, I immediately was able to relate based on my own situation and the way I grew up and the things I saw as a child. Watching this film, I realized one thing that we had in common in our lives we cannot see when we're that depressed and going through that much trauma. I was traumatized, so it causes you to black everything out, and nothing is ever in color. It's always black and white. One day you wake up, God sends something or someone to help you see. You never realized the flowers were so beautiful. Oh wow, the sky is blue, wow. I had no idea. There's a lot of women like me and children still that see in darkness now, or in black and white, and some of them have chosen to see in color. I think the thing in my personal life that empowers women is my strength, my ability to understand that I'm not Wonder Woman, I'm not Hercules, I'm not a superhero, but I'm vulnerable at the same time, and I can be touched. And whatever you're going through, I'm going through as well. You know, people look at celebrities and say they can't be going through anything, they have to be happy. Some celebrities are probably the most unhappy because they have so much money to cover up everything. But in my case, there's no money that can cover up my unhappiness or my happiness. So they just see that I'm relatable in that way. Oprah Winfrey, she's been a huge inspiration in my life. She's done basically what we all strive to do, is beat the odds that were against her. And she continues to beat the odds that's against her because she is looked at as one of the strongest women because she shares the fact that she's vulnerable with us. I look up to her because I see what I can be. Maya Angelou, because she's another one. These women just continue. They could have just chucked it a long time ago, but they kept going for us. And that's what makes me keep going. For the girls that's behind me, you have to keep going no matter how hard it gets. I want to say to all my fans, I love you more than you would ever know. I just thank you so much for everything. Without you, there's no Mary J. Blige. I'm not going to let you down.